Welcome to Above and Below, the podcast of the Construction Industry Alliance for Suicide Prevention. My name is Sonya Bohmann, and I am the Executive Director of CIASP. Joining me today, as always, is my co-host Zulq and our friend McKay Daniels from the National Roofing Contractors Association. Zulq, take it away.
Some of you know me. I'm Sonya's sidekick. I'm Zulq Malik. I'm with Smart Build Construction. I've had a past and a career in construction for about 30 years now. More than just technology, I've been on the front lines with all of the people that are going to be listening from an audience perspective. I did get to learn some of the trades. I'm not a tradesman, so I'm not going to lie about that. I can solder copper with the best of the plumbers. Great workmanship, shitty production rate. I'm happy to be part of here and helping expand the need and cause for what mental health looks like when it starts to degrade on a job site.
First, thanks for having me, Sonya. Great to meet you, Zulq. McKay Daniels, I'm the CEO for the National Roofing Contractors Association, and my life's winding path into construction, similar to Zulq. I'm not a contractor. If I were on a roof, production rate would plummet. I came into roofing and construction via public policy. Immediately before joining NRCA, I was the chief of staff for 2 members of Congress, and I've found that what we do at NRCA is very similar to public policy or political campaigns. It's advocating for our constituency, right? Mm-hmm. And trying to make a segment of the population a little bit better tomorrow than it was yesterday. And that's what I did the 25 years before joining NRCA for people in Nevada or California or Wisconsin or all across the country. And now I do it for the roofing industry. And roofing is way better than Congress or politics. So I'm very excited about it.
So McKay, you and I actually have a little bit of a shared history here. Not that we work together, but I actually spent some time in DC after graduating from university.
Oh,
so
terrific.
I was involved for writing policy at Department of Interior.
Wait, how do I never know this? What?
Yeah, I have a interesting past on you. So
You've said you worked in the U.S. multiple times, but this is new, Zulq.
My boss was a direct appointee, so he was Department of Interior. Right. He had the Office of Environmental Policy and Compliance, and it was like the coolest opportunity on the planet to realize it had nothing to do with the engineering degree I had. But you slowly learn that construction is a lot like Washington, D.C. It's about cultivating relationships and being able to influence people's thinking and ability to think for them so that they will actually follow along with you. So I came back to Toronto, came back home to my family, and then I entered construction. So I do have a construction background. So I do have over almost 29 years in construction itself through the roles of general contracting and all that. I wasn't brave enough to go work for an association because I guess Sonya knows I'm a little outspoken to fit in a box.
See,
as yesterday's board meeting was all about that.
I call Zulq our disruptor.
Okay.
You know, I don't know. I'm going to take offense to that, Sonya.
No, you shouldn't, because disruptors are good and bad, and we all need someone to help us push the envelope.
Sure. And
to remind us that we need to think outside of our norms. I think that goes back to maybe politics a little bit even, right?
Yeah, and you're going to get to know this, McKay. We're going to have this great conversation and dialogue. So what's the real issue at hand? And some people aren't going to like you. You don't have to make everyone happy. I'm not out necessarily looking to make a whole bunch of new friends. I've got some awesome, really cool friends. My friend Rolodex is pretty full, but I'm always happy to meet cool, genuine people that they tell you how they really feel internally. And, you know, in the association world, yes, you have to delicately balance the political needs of every organization, but there's an emotional side where you just have to sometimes step out there and say, hey, I'm about to do this. Some of you aren't going to like it, but really it's the right thing to do.
Well, and first of all, I think we need Zulq for PM up in Canada. You know, this spot's full for a little bit.
No, I'm not interested. I got a few ghosts in my closet.
Yes, you are right that, you know, the association world and construction in general is such a diverse community in terms of size of contractor, experience or history of contractor, the type of work that they do, even within our niche of roofing. You know, there's residential, commercial, large, small, union, non-union. And so it is a very diverse constituency with diverse viewpoints and needs, but that's what makes it fun and interesting as well, you know, and we all need disruptors, and we need to be disruptors ourselves. If we aren't, we're just going to either be, you know, going in circles or standing still. And if we stand still, we're not by definition not moving forward. So
No, and so happy to have some conversations, and I know we're going to talk about some real stuff. You've put out a video that has a meaningful impact. Won't lie, I haven't seen it. Sonya's shared a lot about it, but why are you here, McKay? Tell us a little bit about you and why you think being part of CISP is a good thing.
I'm here, and NRCA is here because we have a silent crisis going on in roofing, in construction, in society, but we're going to talk specifically on construction. And there's no easy single fix, but the silent crisis will only get better if we eliminate the silent part first. And
Love it.
And so over the past year and a half or so, this issue has come onto my radar at a personal level, the association's radar, and we admittedly had not been doing enough, fast enough, long enough, and we are trying to play catch up in a hurry because it is critical that we address mental health. And the video that you're going to watch after this, Zulq,
promise
it's a minute long, so I know it might be a heavy lift. But
Sonya takes a lot of my minutes of my day.
But to try to not just raise awareness, but raise awareness in a language and manner that speaks to our industry, right?
Perfect.
A lot of my members, the folks that are up doing the work on the roof, and those professionals each and every day, they come with I play hurt, I don't complain, I do my job. Nobody likes it. Nobody likes a whiner, complain. I don't want to be that person on the crew, right? I'm here to just do my job and back up my teammates and get it done. That's terrific. It speaks to the passion and dedication of our industry. But there's things that if you are silent for so long or carrying a pack that's too heavy for too long, that harms you and the crew, right? So we tried to put it in a phrase of, be tough enough to ask for help. The bravest thing that you can do is, in many cases, say, I need help. And so that's what the video really tries to speak to and get people thinking about in this way of, hey, I can still be that tough, no-nonsense roofing contractor while still acknowledging I can't do it all by myself and I need some help.
What has been the reaction to the video and to the conversation? Because roofers are tough, right? All of construction is tough, but it's a unique group of workers within construction.
Yeah.
What's the thoughts?
In general, the response has been overwhelmingly positive. But positive there is an operative word. So I speak about this anytime I'm out talking to groups, which is a fair amount. And without fail, at the end of my remarks, somebody comes up and tells their story and says, thank you for talking about this because, XYZ happened to me, to a loved one, to an employee, to a family member. And I've had these tough guy roofers, right?
Yeah.
That you're talking about in tears, in tears in a group of their peers afterwards, wiping away tears, saying how impactful this topic has been in their life and that they want to do anything they can to help break the silence, break the stigma as well. And so that's the best kind of positive, if you can say that people are recognizing it and
Right.
responding. The other part, the takeaway, there's a statistic there in the video about the frequency, right? Just about the severity of suicide, substance abuse, etc. And people say, I had no idea. So in roofing, the number one issue that our shops talk about are falls, right? Fall protection from a health and safety standpoint.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
And for the past 20 years, it's been fall protection, get the crews up on the roof safely and back home safely every night. So many shops now have safety directors. The person's full-time job is to make sure that happens, that the team is safe on the work site. I think in 2022, there were 400 fall fatalities in the U.S., according to OSHA, right? 400. Mm-hmm. It's a big number. And it's worth our attention and dedication to try to drive that number down.
Of course.
But But then when I'm talking to folks and it's, all right, take that 400 that you spend all these resources on trying to prevent and eliminate, multiply it by 10, multiply it by 150%, and that's a weird, math to do. But you get to the 6,000 figure, which is the lives lost in construction from suicide each year. And that's where you see, the room
would be specific to your industry, yeah.
Yeah.
The room the number is actually larger across the whole spectrum.
Gets heavy in a very quick way, right?
Mm-hmm.
But that's the moment I'm trying to go for, and trying to just punch through the noise a bit so that folks realize the severity of it, and we need to be talking about it and working towards solutions.
So I'm going to do a plug for your association right about that. The roofers are probably the unsung. We're going to call them heroes, but we've coined a term, construction warriors, McKay.
Okay.
They're the unsung construction warriors because being roofed in is a milestone on a construction job site.
Mm-hmm. It really
Nobody
is.
celebrates the roofers, and maybe you guys need to celebrate yourselves a little bit more.
We're working on that
suggestion.
Too. Yeah.
Without us, you stay wet.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. We protect what matters most, right?
Yes. Right. And you guys, like the association, everybody works with adverse non-climatic conditions. Forget the height aspect. That's we're going to get to that in a second. But you guys keep it all dry. You're a critical milestone on the job site, and we need to do better to make sure that those people keep the system dry. Because honestly, if the roofs don't get put on, the buildings will never get finished.
Right.
And I don't think anyone can say that they know a roofer that is part of the regular world, other than roofers knowing other roofers. Yeah. So here's an opportunity for all the, we talk about the mechanical contractors, there's electrical contractors, the civil guys get the cool equipment because they got the Tonka trucks for adults. We talk about those people a lot, but no one ever sits there and go, hey, what about the roofers? They're like, roofers? Yeah, they show up at the job and put their shit on, right? Like, oh yeah, no, actually, they are a milestone on every job site.
Well said, Zulq. And yes, I appreciate the plug. And we are working on celebrating ourselves as an industry so that folks take more pride and greater appreciation in what they do, because to say it matters is an understatement. And it's to your point. Yeah.
It's the most critical stage of a construction job.
So that goes back to something I was just thinking about. I think, and roofing, in my guesstimation, probably more than any other place in construction, is generational. There's so many families that work together on a roofing job site. Are you seeing that as a challenge to this conversation? Because we know that when we try to bring it up, it's a tough one.
Yes, it's generational, both out in the field on the roof as well as in the office and leadership and ownership. So many owners are the multi-generation, the company's been around for 150 years type situation. It's really inspiring. I mean, getting my family together at Thanksgiving can be difficult and tricky and make awkward conversations. I can't fathom, a century of family business dynamics. Right. But then you go and take that onto the job site, and it is a real issue at a number of different levels, mental health being one of them, but just you're not just sharing with a friend or a work colleague. If you say X or do X at work, it comes home with you and is then also at Thanksgiving dinner or whatever else. And so we've had people turn down, I hear it all the time from shops, turn down promotions, turn down greater responsibility, turn down advancement in their career because they don't want to be that heavy in the family, right? Yeah. I'm working with my cousins. I don't want to be my cousin's boss. I'm working with my siblings. I don't want to be my sibling's boss. And so
it's not a good place to be anyways. I'm just, anyone that's aspiring to it, go for the competition.
and that also happens.
Zulq is speaking from experience.
Okay.
Well, so you touched on a fact about we talked about multi-generational, and the problem that we're having today with mental health crisis is multi-generational. We have that suck it up buttercup attitude. The Roofing Association particularly has a big suck it up buttercup attitude because if it's raining, you can't put the roof down.
Right.
And when it's dry and hot and sunny, you got to put the roof on. So you guys are you got a very small window. And if somebody says, I'm not doing well today, the pressure to say, too bad, because it's raining in 2 days from today. We
Right.
got to get this done. That pressure exists,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So, and I got to tell you, from the sexiness of trades, roofing isn't the sexiest, right? You don't really have a lot of cool tools, right, or toys yet.
Oh, well, we don't have Tonka trucks for adults, but we do have, some pretty cool stuff. One thing, we're way off topic.
That's
now,
okay.
We're
That's
okay.
the point
We
of this.
wind around. Don't worry.
For the trades in general, it's well worth your time to come to Atlanta in June. It just happened a couple weeks ago, so we got some time to plan. But some 14,000 young kids, well, I don't want to say kids, but 14,000 students come to Atlanta to compete in the U.S. National Championship. Skills USA is what it's called. And,
Oh, nice.
And it's so inspiring to see the full array of everything that's encompassing in the trades. I brought my 12-year-old with me this year because he's heard me come home for the past few years talking about how amazing it is. And he's like, Dad, quit holding out. Come on, bring me along. And he loved it. And he was up there doing hot air welding and seeing what roofing holds, as well as other trades. It's all hands-on and demos. It's pretty cool. Roofing has gotten a lot, I hear you on the sexiness, but it has gotten a lot cleaner, faster. And now there's robots doing a lot of this heavy work. You just boop, 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 and it runs, and, it'll just go off and do its thing, a Roomba for the roof of sorts. And so as technology continues to come in, the skills, the training that worker needs goes up because, it's garbage in, garbage out. But
100%.
The roofing industry today is not the same as it was 10, certainly 20 years ago. People come and go from a job site entirely clean, probably cleaner than a painter, plumber, or solderer. So,
And where I wanted to go with that, McKay, was there's a labor shortage in the industry. It's no secrets. There's stats. It's published. It's everywhere. How are you guys helping recruit new employees by bringing this whole mental health awareness to the forefront? Because that's the reality.
And that gets back to that generational conversation, right?
Yeah, we can't not
You've got
talk about
that
it anymore.
generation moving out.
right.
So,
Well, it's a multi-prong approach and multi-step issue to address. And first, and you kind of touched on it in your earlier comments, Zulq, we as an industry, as roofers, need to do a better job telling our story, bringing sexy back, to quote Justin Timberlake, because
you just hit a sweet spot for her, Justin Timberlake. Just
Okay.
putting it up there.
because there is a very compelling story for us as roofers to tell. We have not done a great job telling it, both at the association level and at the contractor / employer level, of bringing, talking to 18-year-olds who are coming out of high school about why they should consider roofing. And we as society and culturally haven't done well with that, when we're telling every 18-year-old that there's only one path to the American dream, to success, to achieve, to check all the boxes and hopes and dreams that you may have as an individual, for yourself, for your family, for your goals and aspirations, that there's only one path, and that's a 4-year traditional degree. We've spent 15, 20 years beating that into everyone in society, and Congress is as guilty as that in my old world as anybody. And we're seeing the results of that. You get what you incentivize, you get what you promote. And so first we need to tell a story about the efficacy, the value, the nobleness of the trades, and that it's not just a job. You can have a tremendous career. Second in that, and this kind of goes to your specific question, is telling the story of when you are part of this industry, when you're part of company ABC, you're part of a family, you're part of a team. We care about you. This isn't just, grab this bin, get it up to the roof, repeat. I have not encountered a contractor yet who does not care deeply about their workers, their employees, and in many cases they're an extended family. They've been with the company in many cases for decades themselves, right? They care deeply about them, but to a new person coming into the field, they may not know that, they may not see that, and making that part of our story for why somebody should consider roofing is important, because you can find a job almost anywhere, but where can you find a career? Where can you find a fulfilling career? Where can you find a career where you feel valued and appreciated? And those other segments are the part that's the secret sauce to really get somebody to come in and to stick. And we need to do a better job of telling them.
Yeah, if I can add to that, McKay, I think people don't recognize that this is a fraternity.
Yeah,
right. And I don't know if you can use fraternity for males and females anymore.
Yeah, you can.
It's a fraternity. And, in any local community of roofers, everybody knows everyone. Everybody knows, and sometimes there are shared resources that go between companies because they're helping each other out when there's tougher times ahead. So the industry as a whole is a fraternity. And I haven't shared this a lot. I do have that go to university path. I didn't have a choice. I have East Indian parents. You could become a doctor, lawyer, engineer. Those are the 3 paths. I took the path of least resistance because I didn't want to do more med school and I didn't want to do more reading. So I took engineering. But people don't recognize out there that the industry as a whole is a very financially gratifying industry.
Absolutely.
Where the opportunities to make money, listen, yes, the Bill Gates, the Bezos, everybody celebrates those. There's a lot of developers who started in construction that nobody has a clue about, that they have portfolios into the billions of dollars of real estate. And it started off with somebody as simply as saying, I'm going to buy a fixer-upper house and I'm going to renovate it and I'm going to flip it.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Right. And a bunch of trades get together as buddies and they help each other out. And I know in my universe, a number of tradesmen that own multiple properties before they hit 50. Okay. Real estate's always going to be a great play because they're not making any more land. And the simple side is that their net value is high, but it's not Jeff Bezos' yacht because he gets to glamorize that because it's not his money. It's publicly created wealth.
Right.
Right. But we construction does well.
It does.
I'm if anyone's been to Vegas or during any of the major construction conventions, I can absolutely assure you the most expensive bottles of wine, liquor, the clubs, the golf places, the restaurants are all jammed with contractors when they're down there. Yes. And they're splashing cash.
No, you can, and it's that you can have a very successful career through multiple different paths within roofing, within construction. And it really is a secret, if you will, that people
it's
just
the
don't.
best kept secret, right?
People they're not aware.
We really don't want to tell a lot of people. But one of the parts that, we're going to all discuss and we're going to touch on that is the mental health side is what's stopping from that secret expanding because it is a tough industry.
Yeah.
It's a physically demanding job. It's also a rewarding job when it's physically rewarding. But because what you touched on is a silence. We're silent about ourselves. We don't celebrate ourselves. And then when we're not doing well, we stay silent.
Well, there's fear attached to that, right? So my question would be is what advice would you give someone in the roofing industry who's struggling with their mental health to seek help? Because it's scary.
It is scary. One, there's avenues and resources that you can seek help that are anonymous, that nobody on your team, the folks to your left or to your right when you're kicking out rolls, they won't know at all, and you can seek help and assistance anonymously. NRCA has on its website a number of different resources. CISP is one of them. There of places that people can go for help outside of their current ecosystem.
Sure.
But also because of the fraternity that is construction and that is roofing, and I'd take it even a step farther. It is family, whether by blood or by relation. It's a band of brothers,
right?
Type of thing.
You're stronger than the sum of our parts, right?
And you may not feel. I say this when talking to people. It's not a hypothetical. You may not feel as though you can talk to the person or talk to your left or to your right about what you're going through, but I guarantee you that there is somebody in your fraternity in your circle on your team that is a brother from another mother that you can have that conversation with, and they will be there for you, that they value you as a person, they care about you. And the tough, macho, largely male nature of our industry, that may not come across, but on a one-on-one level, they're there for each other. And somebody shouldn't, the most painful thing is that somebody may feel otherwise or not think that the person to their left or their right cares about them, because they do. They're just, we can be macho tough guys sometimes and we don't show it well.
So it's as simple as saying, McKay, if I may say it, is just ask for help.
Yes.
Just ask the guy beside you, listen, I'm not doing good today.
Yep.
Chances are they're not going to kick you down for it.
No.
They might joke around for a few minutes, but they will
Right.
take you aside and say,
Right.
okay, dude, seriously, what's wrong?
Right. Well, and then I'd also, flag for the person to the left and to the right. If you notice your good friend, your fraternity brother or sister who's off, or, man, we've known each other for 5 years and XYZ has changed in recent months. What's going on, Steve? What's going on, Sonya? It's also incumbent on us to look to either side and jump in if from a perspective of, from a place of caring and support, and be there proactively for somebody, just to ask, is everything okay? Because you seem like you're having a bad week. What's going on? And it can be as simple as that.
So they say that hope is the antidote to suicide. What brings you hope in this conversation?
The conversation's happening. First and foremost. Again, I think the silent part is truly the devastating part. It's one thing, we know that car accidents take thousands of lives a year. That's well known. There's well documented stuff. It's in all education I got a 16-year-old, so this is front of mind. It's in driver's tests, etc. We know what to do, and it's widespread. Doesn't mean it always happens, but we know about the problem. It's clearly identified. This is not that. Especially in our circles, people don't even know that it exists. And even if they have had an experience with it, they don't realize the macro level trend that's out there, the macro level issue. They think this was just a random one-off, and it was a tragedy, but then they just pick them, buck up and continue on. We need to realize that no, this isn't just a one-off. This isn't just an isolated thing. This is a pervasive systemic problem that we need to be working on. And so the fact that we're having this conversation gives me hope. The response to that I've received in having conversations like this over the past year gives me hope. Other entities, as other associations, contractors have responded, hey, you talked about this 2 months ago. Can you send us XYZ? We'd like a number of resources. The helmet stickers, 988 helmet stickers, that we got the idea from you all, and you were kind enough when you came and spoke to our board. You talked about them, brought some and samples, and I circled back with you afterwards and said, hey, can we get more? And you're like, yeah, how many? And I'm like, no. We want thousands. And so if you go on betoughenoughh.org, which forwards automatically to NRCA's mental health page, there's a link right there to request 988 stickers. It's not just for members. It's free of charge. We even pay the shipping. And there's no quantity limit. And what's been exciting to see, hopeful to see, is that since we've started this, and I'm a little out of date on the numbers, but we've had companies and individuals request upwards of 6,000 at this point,
So
stickers. And this isn't us spam, bulk mailing. These are people
Right.
coming and
Asking.
requesting, saying,
Yeah.
I would like 10, I would like 50, that type of thing. That gives me hope. And it's not surprising because, again, this industry, roofing and construction, cares deeply about each other. An incredibly generous spirit, incredibly generous heart. They give so much in so many other different ways without ever saying anything. Again, it's that silent thing. If I just do my thing, and I'm not gonna complain, but I'm also not gonna brag. They care so deeply about each other. So I'm not surprised that they're wanting to help their teams and help their colleagues, but it is still exciting and encouraging and hopeful to see. That was a long answer. I apologize.
I love it. No,
No,
it's exactly what needs to be said, right? That there is so much community and support within the construction industry, and that we do need to continue to have conversations like this, and we need to continue to pull away that stigma so that we can continue to save lives.
And I'm going to add to that, Sonya. It's just not conversations. We need to collaborate better. And we're starting to collaborate. Like we're seeing these opportunities and saying, hey, I'm not unique in my association from the mechanical association or the electrical association. We have one common thread. We can't find people. The people we have are not doing well. They're hurting themselves, and it's the byproduct. We didn't really talk a little bit about substance abuse. As industry goes, yes, substance abuse starts on job sites because they're already in pain from physicality. So if there's any kind of mental pain, the physical pain and the mental pain combined, and this idea of opioid addictions is to fix the physical pain.
Sure.
And then it becomes a crutch for the emotional pain that we're having. And not going to pick any industry, but there's certain sectors of construction, you start to see it more than others, where the substance abuse gets more prevalent in them because of what's happening in their dynamics of their world, right? Like, fall protection's real. Roofs don't go on the ground floor. Like, just for the audience that hasn't been on a construction job site, roofs are usually on a higher floor.
Thanks, Zulq.
Hey, I just, not everyone gets to Home Depot, Sonya.
Sure.
Right? There's all kinds of injuries that happen from heights. Like, you're going up a ladder, you slip 2 rungs, you didn't fall.
Right.
You hit your head 2 rungs down, and that hurts. Right.
But the coordination part is a real and key element. I talked to folks. I mean, the to-do list is too long for us all to be doing it ourselves and duplicating. Right. And so that's where, to the extent that we are able to divide up the to-do list and share the resources, share the best practices to chip away at that to-do list faster and more efficiently, we absolutely need to be. And that's where I've been really encouraged or hopeful, going to your last question, Sonya. Within NRCA, we have manufacturers, distributors, contractors, engineers, architects, consultants. The full spectrum of the industry are members of ours. But then there are manufacturers associations and distribution by their doing their thing, and design community with their association. And it's been really encouraging to see other associations and private companies say, what can we do to help on this process as well? Just this morning, I got a text from one of Roofing's Manufacturer Association saying, we've formed a mental health committee to try to partner with NRCA and push this out. What can we be doing together to drive this? Because they have different channels, different communication networks, a different audience in some cases than we do. But sharing that message and, here you go, run with it is tremendous. And then that's just within our industry, and Zulq, within construction as well. If once you watch the roofing video, the notion of being able to take that and you just swap out roofing and say construction, it really can apply anywhere, right? Yeah. Is there an effort that could be made of getting the different trade associations together, and we all pitch in a bit to have a construction-wide message campaign going
What
out.
we're working on.
In earnest. You know, there's so much. Another hopeful part is there's so much potential to raise. You know, we're not starting at zero, but we're starting at a pretty low level. So there's so much potential upside
Growth.
that we just need to recognize it, run with the ball, and push, and working together as a construction community will help that.
And this is my plug for CISP. So we're an associate. We're a 501c3. You're going to help me with all the acronyms, Sonya. The board is completely voluntary. We put in our time and our effort, but we're trying to bring the industry together.
We're labor agnostic, which is important
Yeah.
to really make sure we're reminding people of.
Yeah, we don't care what flag you wear, right? And whose flag you wear it for. We just care that you're part of the ecosystem. And when we talk about construction, it's almost a little bit of a misnomer because it's really the entire ecosystem, right? So we've got members on our board that are from the manufacturing world or the equipment world or the tool world, right down to technology companies that are saying, hey, we recognize that collectively we can all help. And, you know, when people say, hey, I want to have a voice, we're saying we're not a pay to play. We provide resources that are not behind paywalls. We ask contractors, and I'm going to say this, any of the roofing contractors, take the pledge. Join the next fraternity and the next evolution of safety. And you can take a pledge with CISP. It doesn't cost you anything. We get to communicate with you. We also find a way to communicate directly with you. So when we have information, we're happy to share it with you for free. And, you know, CISP is trying to create that fraternity of gluing the whole ecosystem together to make it happen. So we're going to count on, you know, McKay, just help us help you.
We're in. Yeah.
Right?
They are. All in.
You talked about your Super Bowl for roofers. I didn't know you had one. I think Sonya and we should go out. We should get an invite first, McKay. I'm just putting it out there. But it would be really cool to be there to say, hey, for your competitors, let's talk about, here's an opportunity where they're going to be in a high intense environment. And we just got to tell them, listen, just stop and breathe and have fun.
Right.
And just think of how much better this is going to be. And then it allows us to keep expanding the voice, right?
Yeah,
And
any way
even
we can help,
manufacturers.
we're there. Absolutely.
Right back at you, Sonya.
Thanks. So we have one final question that we ask all of our guests, and it's something that CIASP has embraced this year. I've got one, Zulq's got one, but we ask what your word of the year would be.
And it can't be hope. Sorry, I've taken that away.
Oh, come on, man.
No, I'm not going to let you off that easy.
Word of the year. I'll say resilience then. Lots of different reasons, but there's a number of indicators out there right now as an industry that are flashing yellow. It's not red, but it's you know, depending on who you talk to, it's not green either.
Green.
Sure.
It's flashing yellow, and but seeing during my 7 years in this industry, the resilience that top to bottom, left to right, everybody brings to their role, the pragmatic problem solving resilience gives me hope. I'm going to incorporate that word just to get Zulq, right? Gives me hope because while it's flashing yellow, there are creative minds out there to working to solve those latest hurdles and weather through them. And so the resilience, I think, speaks to our industry and its people.
Well, thank you. So
Now I'm curious though, what's your word, Zulq and Sonya?
my word is intentionality. And really just being smart about the choices that I make on behalf of CIASP, the projects that we endeavor to take on this year, and the conversations that we have like this one. We are doing that with intention.
That's a great word and good reason to have it. What about you?
I'm changing mine to Rolls Royce.
Not your word of the
No,
year.
no. Mine is actually grateful, McKay.
Okay.
It has been my word for a few years. We all talk about what happens along the way. We all have struggles. My struggle was to be a dad. And, 8 years ago, this little girl walked into my world. I finally became a dad. And it was a struggle for us. And it actually is part of the reason why I feel the need to give back to CISP, because I was fortunate that I had some really dear friends that took me out of my dark moments.
That's huge.
And when you have time to step away from that and you go, hey, well, like, why am I special? I say this openly. I am the son of an immigrant parents. Life is pretty awesome. Can't complain. It wasn't that I was born with a platinum spoon in my mouth. I worked for it, I clawed for it, and it happened.
Yep.
And my mountain, after I finished climbing and getting kicked in the derriere along the way, gave me this beautiful young person. And I can't be thankful and grateful enough every day when I wake up to say, hey, listen, first of all, I woke up.
Sure.
Right? So I'm breathing. So that's a good start. And then everything thereafter is easy. Right? So that's my word. I don't know if I'm going to change it yet next year, Sonya.
It's a good word.
I'm
Yeah.
just going to live in the world of being grateful. I'm just, a lot of our viewers are going to be listening in here like, oh, it sounds corny, it sounds cheesy. But
No,
if you
no.
wake up and you live with this idea of gratefulness, that, you're just grateful that, hey, you're living a new day and there's still an opportunity for better and improvement.
There's research that shows that gratitude changes your mental mindset.
Yeah.
Oh,
100%.
Yeah, well, yeah, and what's the envy is the thief of joy, I think is
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
a phrase, and that's envy's the opposite of
Exactly.
gratefulness or gratitude. It's the living on our worst days, we still have it better in Canada or the U.S. In this era, especially. We won the, like Warren Buffett had said, we all won the demographic lottery. And
100%.
it doesn't mean it platinum spoon came easy, a Bezos kid thing. That's not about that. Just it's in the history of mankind and the history of the world, we've got it very, very good.
We do.
The world, I want to say this. The world is looking for the 1%ers from an economic perspective. North America is a 1% of the world that gets to live the way we get to live, right? So we're living in the 1% world.
There you go.
So with that, we will not take up any of your time, and we will say thank you with gratitude and intentionality. And we
That's
know
great.
that all of the things that you are doing are going to make this industry even more resilient. So thank you.